Hello there, friends. Rebecca here, your friendly neighborhood dragon librarian, and I'm here with Gally today to talk to you about a couple books that I am really excited to share with you. And I'm overjoyed to share these books with you because, well, for a couple reasons. The first one being, obviously, I've recently read them within the past week and a half, actually, and they are so phenomenal. But the other reason I'm really excited to talk to you about them is because these two books have not been officially published yet. What? How crazy is that? You're like, Rebecca, how in the world did you get to read these books before they're even published? Well, I was very lucky to be able to go to a librarian conference in Columbus, Ohio recently. And at this conference, they have a bunch of publishers and there's all kinds of things going on. And one of the things that the publishers do is hand out free ARCs of books. Now, ARC is it stands for Advanced Reader Copy. So basically they are unedited editions of the books that are coming out soon, and they want librarians to, be able to read them and promote them and talk about these books. So you're thinking, oh, that's pretty cool. What did you, come home with a handful of books, like, 10, 15 books? Yeah, a little bit more than that. What would you think a normal, completely not unhinged person would bring home from a conference? 20, 25, 30 maybe? No. 131 books I brought home. Yes, I carted 131 books back from this conference. Most of them young adult and adult books. And I am just so excited because a lot of them are books that I've been eagerly anticipating. I get to read them ahead of time and hype you up for them. And then maybe you can get on the hold list for these books before they even come out, because I'm going to share with you how great they are. So a couple that I read that I am just really excited about are the ones I want to talk to you today. So yes, why am I telling you all this? I'm not trying to rub it in your faces that I got 131 free books. Well, maybe just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit I am. But the real reason is just because I want to share these amazing books with you and have you be on the lookout for them. Because the ones I'm going to talk about today specifically are both on order from the library. So if I'm talking about these books and they sound really interesting and you want to read them, please feel free to go and put yourself on hold for them. You will not be disappointed. So, the first one I want to talk about is called Lula Dean's Little Library of Banned Books. Lula Dean's Little Library of Banned Books. And this is by Kristen Miller. Now, the really exciting thing about this, well, there's a couple. The first one is that this author, Kristen Miller, wrote a book that ended up being 2 years ago on my top 5 list of favorite books of the year, called The Change. And it was about these middle-aged women who basically used their own innate powers to take down this terrible thing that was going on in their town. Loved that book. So when I saw her name on this, I was really excited to read it. The other thing I'm excited about, I mean, look at it. It's a little library of banned books. I'm a librarian. How amazing is that? Banned books is a topic right now that is very relevant. It's something that's going on in the media. There's no way you haven't heard about a lot of the books and stuff that's being banned. And this book really takes on that issue just basically head on. So I knew I was going to love it just from those two things alone. And I absolutely did. This book is it. It is it. It is so good. It is hilarious. The characters are amazing. I laughed out loud. I got really angry at some of the stuff that was happening. I wanted to cry at some of the stuff that was happening. This book took me on the biggest emotional roller coaster ever. And it was so good. So let me tell you a little bit more about it. So, two main characters in this book are Beverly and Lula Dean. Now, Beverly and Lula Dean have sort of been arch enemies ever since their high school days. And they don't really talk about why that is until a little bit further in the book. And it is very important to the story. So I'm not going to tell you why right now. You're going to have to just read that and find out. So they have been enemies basically their whole lives. Lula Dean is basically a kind of a conspiracy theorist. She's somebody that just picks up all these weird ideas and tries to impress them upon people. And she's not taken very seriously in the town. So all that changes when a couple of teenagers, as a prank, hide this sexual cookbook in the library. And this sets off Lula Dean, and she's like, oh my God, there's porn in the library. You know, kids and people are reading all this filth, and all these books need to be banned. All these books need to be pulled. And it starts this big problem in the library where all these books start to be taken out, and problems like that. And now Lula Dean is getting a lot of attention, and she is, you know, trying to now run for mayor, and she's trying to, you know, impress all these ideas on people. And Beverly's kind of just watching this in horror, like, oh my God, I don't know what I can do. So she tries to run against her. So in the beginning, basically what happens is Lula Dean decides to set up a little free library in front of her house and fill it with only books that she deems appropriate, like really weird, like Southern etiquette books, and because this book takes place in Georgia. I forgot to mention that in the first place. So Lula Dean sets out this little free library. If you don't know what a little free library is, I'm sure you've seen them in your town or neighboring towns. They're basically these little structures, these little boxes, look kind of like mailboxes, but bigger, filled with books. People can come and take one, leave one for free, stuff like that. So she's got this little library, fills it with these books. Well, Beverly's daughter, one night, decides to have a little bit of fun, and she goes to this library and she takes all the books out except their dust jackets, and she fills the library with all the banned books, but puts the original boring dust jackets back on. So now all the people in town start going and picking up these books thinking they're getting one thing but getting something completely different. But what's magical about this is every person gets the exact book that they need at that time. And that is just really, really cool. And I think if I had to pick my favorite aspect of this book is that it really describes that feeling of there is a book for every reader. And sometimes books come into your life at the exact moment that you need it. And there's no way to explain that. There's no way to explain how this happens, but it does happen, and it happens often. And that's sort of what the beauty of this book is about. It's about that serendipity of finding the right book for you. This book is about, obviously, very anti-book banning and anti-censorship. It was like a breath of fresh air. It made me feel really good, and also aggravated me at the same time because, you know, as funny as this book was, there are a lot of really aggravating things that happen, and it's stuff that is actually happening in the world right now. So this book, absolutely phenomenal. I loved every second of it. Please, please, please read it. You will not be disappointed. It is coming out, when is this book coming out? So you know when to look for it. June. So this book is coming out in June of this year. So please, please, please go look it up. Put yourself on hold for it. Keep an eye out for it. Lula Dean's Little Library of Banned Books. Now, the next one I want to talk to you about is a little bit even odder than that one. And this is a book I had been eagerly anticipating, and when I saw that I could get a copy of it, I almost exploded with joy because it was so fantastic. And this is called The Ministry of Time, and it's by Kaliane Bradley. This is her debut novel. Kaliane Bradley, The Ministry of Time. So the rights have already been sold in, like, I don't know, 17, 18 different languages for this book. A TV adaptation is in the pipeline. There was an auction for this book that was just absolutely insane, like everybody competing for it. This is a book to keep your eye on because it is going to explode when it comes out in the beginning of May. So just a couple of weeks away on this one. This book is coming out soon. Please, please, please keep an eye out for it. It's going to be very buzzworthy. Now, I'm going to tell you something about it. It's kind of science fiction. Don't run away. If you are not a person that enjoys science fiction, I promise you, you will love this book because it is more of literary fiction than science fiction. And it takes an idea like time travel and addresses and asks a lot of social, really amazing questions about what would happen in certain scenarios. So, for example, this book is set in the future, and it is basically this young woman who is a Cambodian British woman, and she is a public servant. She gets this job in this government agency in England that is like a dream job because it pays a lot of money, it's got a lot of benefits, and what this job is this time ministry, and this agency of the government has been able to effectively pull individuals from the past into the present, okay? And the reason they're doing this is because they want to see if how much they can do with this. They want to test the limits of this. So to do it, they are pulling individuals throughout history into the here and now and having them live with, I don't want to say a counselor, but they're called bridges. And basically it's like a bridge to modern society. It's a person who is going to live with them in the same house, teach them about, you know, what's going on in the world, how to live in the current world. Now they've only chosen people who are already doomed to die. So it's not going to affect anything in the past. It's not going to screw up any timelines or whatever. So our main character, our bridge character, her person that she is going to be looking after is a polar explorer from the 1800s. And he is now coming to this century to live with her in this house to learn about all the things that have happened since the 1800s to now, and to try to see if, number one, the toll on the body will last. Like, these people are basically experiments, right? So they want to be able to mess more with time travel, do all kinds of other things. But to do that, they need to first get these people and see how it works, see how the process works. How much does this tax the body, like being taken from one time to another? Can it be handled? Can they adapt to society? All these different questions. Now, if this was just a regular time travel book, you know, that would kind of be it, right? But you have this story that takes an idea like, what would it look like if you took an explorer from the 1800s and put him in a house with a disenchanted millennial woman, okay? What kind of dynamic would these people have? Particularly because, and this is a very big part of this book, the fact that she has a mixed race, she's a mixed heritage, she's from different cultures. How are these people going to connect? How are they going to make these connections with each other? How is this man going to adapt? His name is Graham. And this story is incredible. Like I said, yes, it's about time travel, but it's not. It's about people, and it's about connections, and it's about the way we think of culture and identity throughout different time periods. And it's just absolutely amazing. And this book has everything in it. I laughed so hard reading this book. I fell in love so hard reading this book. There's a little bit of romance in it. I was scared. There's a thriller aspect. I was kept on the edge of my seat. But the main thing is this book got me thinking. And I'm still thinking about it. And I know I'm going to be thinking about this book for ages and ages to come, because it was just so well written. Oh my gosh, this book is so well written. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful story, encapsulates so many ideas and questions, and does it in just this amazing, amazing way. And there's these other characters too that are absolutely hilarious. So we've got our character, the bridge, and her person, Graham. You've also got somebody that was taken from this woman from the 1700s who becomes obsessed with movies and Tinder. You have this sort of squeamish guy that was taken from World War I, and they just all kind of become friends, and it's this like hilarious collection of complete misfits, right, from different time periods, and the way that they are struggling to make sense of the world as it is today. Like, how do you tell somebody from centuries past about 9/11, about the Holocaust? How do you convey these ideas to these people, and about, you know, the way cultures have mixed and the way that the world is now? I'm telling you, this book is fantastic. It's out in a couple weeks. Please read it. I think you will absolutely love it. The Ministry in Time. Well, that's the two that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I've got plenty more to discuss with you. I'm sure in the coming months, I'll be talking about different books that are coming up soon, and whether you should read them or not, whether they're worth your time or not. I'm very excited to do that. These two, definitely make sure you put them on hold and read them. They're amazing. Thank you so very much for watching, my friends. And also, please give this video a like. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.